Societies are rethinking the traditional places of men and women, both in the family and the world at large. How, and with what success?
Let's start with one perhaps that is not as obvious. On the kibbutz set itself a double goal. The first was to change the image of the authoritarian father that had been traditional in East European Judaism. And the second was to give the kibbutz woman full status as a citizen and a member of the community. The changing role of the father has in part been accomplished because on the kibbutz discipline, the responsibility for discipline falls mainly on the upbringer, the metapelet. And this comes out clearly in our research work there, because the metapelet is the one who's described as a disciplinarian, and mothers and fathers are described by the children as equally affectionate.
Separating the disciplining role of parents from the loving role is achieved by the community taking on a large part of the upbringing function of the family. From 6 weeks onwards, children live not with their parents, but in their own special houses. Here, they're cared for by one of the children's nurses, the metapelet. She will be responsible for the child's training and development. There are benefits for both children and parents, the kibbutz secretary explains.
Many of the difficulties, and we know after many years of life of the kibbutz, that the main important difficulties the child has belong to his mother or to his father. But that bring very much for feeling of guilty. And if the father and the mother, and also the child, can put it on the nerves, what we call the metapelet, and they can a little be free from it, I think it helps them to be together.
Late afternoon brings the time of the children, when all work stops and parents and children are free to be together as a family for the rest of the day without the demands of the factory or housework interfering. Margaret is a mother who wasn't brought up on a kibbutz, so this system of upbringing was new to her. What were her first reactions?
In the beginning, when I brought my son to the house, I was rather aggressive. I was a little bit shocked about it. And I thought I'd never be able to do it. I couldn't imagine that parents could give their children to somebody else to get them educated. Bringing your child to somebody else in the evening, he's not sleeping with you. And then the children get up in the morning, don't see their mother but somebody else. So when I'm brought up in a family life, in a home in a city, so I thought it was not a healthy system. I was also afraid the influence of the mother from 4 o'clock till with the baby 6, 7 and the elderly children till 9 was not enough. And now I must say that if I think how should I be able to bring up my child outside the kibbutz by myself, with nobody criticizing me, nobody talking to me, shouldn't you do this and shouldn't you think that. And it gives me also more self-confidence if I see that what I decided was good, or that what I decided was less good, but somebody helps me to decide differently.
What are the other benefits for the mother?
The other benefits of the mother are that she's free to build up her own career inside the kibbutz, or if she wants to study also outside the kibbutz, she can study and she can really become something. And if she doesn't want, she's also free not to.
Nursing and teaching young children is seen exclusively as women's work and draws heavily on the woman power of the kibbutz. Other career prospects are limited. Most women are still to be found in their traditional job settings. If there is a marked change in the role of women, it's in the family circle that it's to be seen most clearly. A balance between husband and wife has been achieved not so much by providing a new role for women as by the greater involvement of the father in family life. At bedtime, mothers and fathers all over the kibbutz take their children back to the children's houses for the night. The time of the children is over, but they've spent 5 hours of concentrated family life together, more than most British families. The kibbutz as a community takes on the tasks of providing economic security for the family and the discipline and training of the children. With these responsibilities lifted from his shoulders, the father is free to play a strong and loving role in his children's lives.
Here we get these lovely, warm, but very masculine. There's nothing unmasculine about these men in the kibbutz. And it's a very beautiful picture. It's sort of, at least for me, it had this strange quality of the Madonna and child, but yet it was not a Madonna, it was a man enveloping a young child as if he were a mother, yet this is not a mother, and it's quite clear. Now, what's the impact upon that child? What's his discovery of what it means to be a man? Because that's his discovery. This is the real model that he sees. This is father. And this is what it is to be a father. And if he's a boy, he's going to be one. If it's a girl, this is the kind of person with whom I'm going to spend the rest of my life. That's a very powerful piece of learning.
I think that as a father, we take much more part in the everyday life of our children. So I can think that we have much more successful in give the fathers in the education than to take the mother off from that jobs. And I'm sure that we cannot be happy from it, because I'm sure that the mother, the wife in the kibbutz, must have a new field. She must have the much more horizons, because in that point I am sure that we have not success as much as the value of our society. And on that contradictions, the kibbutz cannot continue. He must give a new answer. And I hope that in the time now that comes the industrial revolution to the kibbutz, and more free professions, that the wife will take another part. That brings to another question: who will be the nurse?